Hi, I'm Lauren, and today I am going to be talking about forgiveness. Struggles and challenging situations that we ultimately need to forgive and let go of are super important because they teach us important life lessons and they help us evolve as human beings. The goal is to not get stuck in a place where you're harboring resentment, you're holding on to the situation, or you're identifying as a victim, or just in this constant state of pain. Those are really psychologically crippling states. So it's really important to remember that all emotions are literally energy in motion. That's where the word comes from, emotion. So they're supposed to flow through you. We're not supposed to hold on to any type of emotion. But when we do hold on to the negative emotions, they get stuck in our mind, and our mind can only take so much. So eventually they go into the subconscious where they create psychological disease, and they eventually create physical disease. So we don't want that to happen. So I actually want to go over what forgiveness actually is because there's a lot of misconceptions around that. So forgiveness, first of all, is a choice. It's extremely empowering, it's liberating, it's extremely healing, and it's absolutely necessary to create the space in your life for positive things to come into your life, to manifest into your life. And forgiveness is not an admission to guilt. It doesn't mean one person's right and one person's wrong. It's not repressing your feelings. It's not attained through revenge. And it doesn't mean you're letting someone off the hook. Harboring anger and resentment also negatively impacts your health because it negatively impacts cholesterol levels and hormone levels. It increases your chance of having a heart attack or stroke. It increases anxiety and depression. And it alters your sleep patterns. And that's not cute. We need our beauty sleep. Sleep is super important. If you do not get one good night's sleep, it just derails everything. The metabolism goes down, you feel like shit, physically, mentally, you're just not there. You're a complete zombie. So if you do that for a long period of time, you're basically fucked. However, forgiveness, although challenging, helps you heal psychologically, emotionally, and physically. It lowers your cortisol levels and keeps you in a relaxed, calm state. Also, when you have a similar situation or a new situation that might have stressed you out or made you angry in the past, you don't have that anymore because you've done work and healing around it. So you're a stronger, more empowered person. And so some techniques for forgiving. The first one and the most important one is that you need to make the choice to forgive. Like I said in the beginning, forgiveness is ultimately a choice. Everything in life is a choice, but especially to forgive. You have to decide that you're not a victim and that you're over the situation and you're not gonna let it rule your mind anymore. It's like the AA saying, why let someone live in your mind rent free? So when you make the choice to forgive, you immediately put yourself in a position of power and empowerment. The next thing is acceptance. Acceptance for the circumstance, the person that's upset you, whether it's yourself or someone else, just having acceptance of the situation. For instance, if you are needing to forgive yourself for something, instead of beating yourself up or identifying as this bad person or bad thing, separate that situation as an isolated situation and realize that you were doing the best you knew how at that time, and that's not really you. That was just you going through some shit and being in pain. And that will separate you from the person that you are now, because in our natural state, we're not pain, we're not bad, we're not in struggle. So just separating it out and feeling okay with that. The same applies if you need to forgive a person. So if there's someone in your life that really makes you angry or a situation that happened is making you upset, you get to look at the situation and say, okay, they are being themselves. And I am no longer going to be mad at this person for really being themselves. Whether they're an asshole, whether they're like super critical, you get to not worry about or devote any energy at all because they're just being themselves, and you're going to be cool with that. That's acceptance. Along the lines of acceptance, but a little bit different, is releasing yourself of any judgment of yourself and others. There's no need to think you're bad or the other person's bad or identify with it like we were talking about earlier. You are not your mistakes. you are not a bad situation that happened to you. The next thing that's important is to identify an expectation that you had that wasn't met. We experience disappointment and anger, and we harbor resentment because there was an expectation that we had that wasn't met. I think a really good thing to do here is to write down the expectation that wasn't met for you and journal about it and just get all your feelings out on a piece of paper. And then after that, journal about what it would look like if your expectations were met. And then after you write down the part about what would happen if your expectations were met, write down how you can do that for yourself in the future. And another technique is mantras. Mantras are super important for any type of behavior change because you repeat the mantra, even if you don't believe it at first, you repeat it and you repeat it until it goes into the subconscious mind and creates new neural pathways. So with forgiveness, some good mantras are, I let go of the past. That situation is not who I am. I have no emotion attached to so-and-so. Things like that. Also, if you're into energy work, opening your heart space right here and just imagine a white light going into your heart and clearing out any negative energy, any gunk in that space is really healing too. You could wear green, which is associated with the heart space, the fourth chakra. Also, in terms of reading material, I highly recommend the book Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. It's an amazing book for, any phase of your life, but especially if you really need to let go and forgive something and you want to heal or evolve as a person. Read this book. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And I'm just starting this YouTube journey, so if you want to join me, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.